I don't usually talk about my personal life online. In fact, for the longest time, I convinced myself that this story wasn't worth telling. But recently, I've realized that maybe someone out there needs to hear it. Maybe you're going through the same thing. Maybe you're trying to move on from someone you thought would be in your life forever. And if that's you, this story is for you. A few years ago, I met someone who completely changed my life. He wasn't perfect, neither was I, but somehow, when we were together, the world felt a little easier to deal with. We talked every day. Good morning messages, random conversations in the middle of the day, late night calls that somehow lasted until sunrise. The kind of connection where silence wasn't awkward, it was comfortable. For the first time in my life, I felt understood, and I started building my future around that feeling. I imagined birthdays, vacations, meeting each other's families, growing older together. I know it sounds crazy now, but when you're in love, forever doesn't feel like a fantasy. It feels like a plan. And that's what made losing him so difficult. Because when he left, he didn't just take himself out of my life. He took the future I had imagined with him. At first, nothing seemed wrong. The conversations became shorter, the replies became slower. The excitement that used to be there started disappearing. I noticed it, but I ignored it. I told myself he was just busy. I told myself I was overthinking. I told myself everything was fine. But deep down, I think I already knew. Sometimes your heart notices things before your mind is ready to accept them. Then one day, the conversation happened. The conversation I had spent months pretending would never come. He told me he wasn't happy anymore. He told me he needed space. And eventually, he told me goodbye. I wish I could tell you I handled it well. I didn't. I spent months replaying every memory in my head, every conversation, every mistake, every moment where I could have done something differently. I blamed myself for everything. Maybe I wasn't good enough. Maybe I didn't love him enough. Maybe I loved him too much. I kept searching for answers. But heartbreak doesn't always give you answers. Sometimes, all it gives you is silence. And honestly, that was the hardest part. Not the crying, not the loneliness, not even the breakup itself. The hardest part was realizing that the person who once knew everything about me had become a stranger. Someone I couldn't call anymore. Someone I couldn't share my day with anymore. Someone who used to feel like home. And for a long time, I thought I'd never recover from that. But something interesting happened. Time passed. Not quickly, not magically, just one day at a time. And little by little, life kept moving. The songs stopped hurting as much. The memories became less painful. The empty space she left behind slowly started filling with new experiences, new people, new goals, a new version of myself. And that's when I learned something that nobody tells you about heartbreak. Moving on doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean the memories disappear. It doesn't mean you suddenly stop caring. It means accepting that the story is over and choosing to keep living anyway. There are still moments when I think about him. Sometimes a song reminds me of the past. Sometimes a random memory appears out of nowhere. But those memories don't break me anymore. They remind me how much I've grown. Because the truth is, some people come into our lives for a season, not forever. And that's okay. Not every love story is meant to have a happy ending. Some love stories exist to teach us lessons, to help us grow, to show us what we're capable of feeling. And maybe that's enough.